All right, let's jump right in. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a really fascinating 2026 data-backed strategy that basically takes the traditional, incredibly expensive Canadian immigration path for pharmacists and flips it completely upside down. Now, if you're a pharmacist looking at moving to Canada, you probably already know how agonizing the standard journey is. You know, the endless waiting, paying those crazy equivalence exam fees from overseas. But what if I told you that early 2026 data reveals a completely different, much faster backdoor? Let's start with Section 1, the dilemma and the smart solution. Take a look at this. The difference is honestly staggering. The traditional path, it's going to drain almost 13,000 Canadian dollars upfront in exams and travel, all while you wait up to 3 years outside the country. But this smart path, you enter through a francophone track as a pharmacy assistant. Your upfront costs plummet to around $2,600, and you're looking at permanent residency in just 14 to 20 months. To put that into perspective, that is literally 10,075 Canadian dollars saved before you even pack a bag. Think about it. If you take the traditional route and your PR gets rejected, well, that money is just gone. This hack completely eliminates the massive financial risk of paying for exams before your residency is even a sure thing. Moving right along to Section 2, the secret path pharmacy assistant. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Going from a fully licensed pharmacist to an assistant, it might feel like a bit of a hit to the ego. But listen, working as an assistant is a brilliant temporary chess move. You learn French, you apply under the assistant code, you start earning Canadian dollars right away, and then you tackle those heavy exams from the comfort of your new life in Canada. So why the assistant roles specifically? Well, NOC code 33103 is a Tier 3 job, which means it's fully eligible for those top economic PR programs. And here's the kicker. It doesn't require immediate licensing or PBC exams. Because of the huge wave of boomers retiring in 2026, pharmacies are basically desperate for assistance. You're leveraging that demand to pull in around 46,000 Canadian dollars a year right off the bat, using it to fund your ultimate goal. Which brings us to Section 3, the key to the door, French. Listen, hitting B2 level French, or NCLC 7, is absolutely not a pipe dream. It's a mathematically achievable reality in 8 months. We're talking just 17 hours a week. As you can see, breaking it down into structured courses, speaking practice on italki, some active listening, and vocab drilling. It's not magic, it's just consistent, targeted effort. And why put yourself through those 17 hours a week? For this exact number right here. 393. That was the unbelievably low cutoff score for express entry French draws in early 2026. General draws without French were hovering way up around 540. So having B2 French, it gives you a massive, honestly kind of unfair advantage in the pool. This 8-month language sprint is your ultimate shortcut. With these French draws happening almost bi-weekly in 2026, you don't just get a 50-point bonus. You unlock something called mobility francophone. Basically, employers can hire you without having to suffer through that agonizing 3 to 6 month LMIA wait. It even gets you into exclusive virtual job fairs. Okay, let's get into Section 4, warning, legal transparency first. I need to give you a bit of tough love on this one. People always ask us, wait, is this actually legal? Yes, absolutely. But there is a razor-thin, incredibly vital difference between strategic positioning and illegal misrepresentation, and you have to play by the rules. Just to give you some context, in 2025 alone, the Canadian government rejected over 95,000 applications for misrepresentation. A huge chunk of those were people trying to hide their higher qualifications just to look like a better fit for a lower-tier job. Seriously, do not fall into that trap. Here is the absolute golden rule you need to follow. Strategic positioning means legally picking the assistant NOC code for the job you are actually being offered, but, and this is crucial, 100% declaring your pharmacy degree in your education history. Illegal misrepresentation would be hiding that degree, or even worse, doing actual pharmacy duties like counseling patients before you have a license. You've got to remember this. Hiding your degree equals misrepresentation, which equals a 5-year ban from Canada, period. If an immigration officer asks why a fully licensed pharmacist is applying as an assistant, just tell the truth. You're funding your equivalence exams from inside Canada while working in your field. It's logical, it's honest, and it is totally legal. Let's wrap things up with Section 5, equivalence from inside Canada. Once you actually have your PR status and a local salary, the whole game changes. You instantly save about $3,800 on travel and hotels for your exams because, well, you already live there. If you're heading to Quebec, your bridging tuition drops from $24,000 down to just around $6,200 because you're a permanent resident now. Plus, you get access to massive immigrant microlending programs, all while naturally prepping for your exams by working in a real Canadian pharmacy every single day. So, looking at the big picture, months 0 to 8, you're sprinting to learn French. By month 12, you've secured a job offer and applied for PR. By month 20, you're physically in Canada earning money. Yes, the whole journey to full pharmacist still takes about 3 years. But the key difference? You're spending half that time actually living, earning, and building your life inside Canada instead of just waiting in limbo back home. The data's there, the legal path is mapped out, and the financial upside is huge. It really all boils down to one question. Are you ready to spend 8 focused months learning French, or would you rather spend the next 3 stressful years just waiting in line outside the border? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.